It's not often that a romantic comedy comes around that feels deeply earnest about its understanding of the raw and fundamental experience of young love, but Kawaii Shou is that rarity. It tells the story of Yuza as he lives his not-so-peaceful life with the residents of his boarding house, as we experience their everyday lives as the show places the characters and their relationships as the forefront appeal of the entire show, which is easily the show's greatest strength, putting believable, likable characters on the screen in everyday situations and just allowing them to be themselves. Nothing about the show feels forced, the emotion is genuine and the occasional drama is never melodramatic. It completely understands that being subtle, reserved, and laid back is necessary when it comes to portraying realistic relationships. The chemistry between the characters is utterly believable, charming, and heartfelt, and I couldn't have possibly have asked for more from Kawaii Shou. Everybody has the desire to win, to be the best, but that desire means absolutely nothing without the necessary passion to conquer your aspirations. Yes, you can be extraordinary at something and be content with it, but why assume that that is your limit? Your assumptions will bring your own downfall even if you're talented. Losing sight of what initially drove you will eventually be your biggest regret, as those who kept their passion burning pass you. This is what Haikyuu is about, and it conveys this message through the sport of volleyball. But the thing about this message is that it's one that's been conveyed time and time again in similar anime like Kiriko no Basket or The Prince of Tennis. So what really makes Haikyuu stand out from those? The glimmer that makes it stand out is the chemistry between the players, their interactions that have a certain spark to them that make them feel like genuine athletes, while at the same time giving them enough detailed characterization that reveals that they're more than just athletes. They're simply regular people who just have a different passion than us, and anyone who's ever been passionate about something, about anything, can easily understand and relate to the feelings of them all. In the end, I brought it back to passion, but passion is what drives everything. It's why I'm writing and saying these exact words. Haikyuu's message about passion is something that anyone can become comfortably infatuated with, and while delivering this heartfelt message, Haikyuu still astonishingly enough managed to be an enjoyable sports anime that produced adrenaline rushes of excitement with every episode. Friends are very important. Without friends, we couldn't possibly achieve even half of the things that we do. But friendship is also a very complicated thing, and One Week Friends is about those complications, all those hardships of calling another person your friend, the necessity of accepting every single one of that person's flaws and attributes to actually call them a friend. And One Week Friends exemplifies this fact with an amazingly detailed narrative. It also shows how easily those bonds of friendship can be cut, although it takes it to a much more extreme level by having our main character Yuki fighting the hopeless fight of becoming friends with a girl named Kaori, whose memories of her friends reset every week, effectively brutally cutting her emotional ties to anyone who tries to get close to her. Doing this every week slowly traumatizes Yuki, causing him to lose his grip on those already thin bonds that could break at a moment's notice. Yuki's internal struggle against his own emotions also affects the other characters, and as the thinning bond grows closer and closer to shattering completely, it sparks the unavoidable but truthful question that maybe, just maybe, some things are better left off as memories. All aboard the Black Bullet Express, zipping past at 200 miles per hour with no plans of ever slowing down even slightly. Fast, 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 that's what Black Bullet is, fast-paced. In fact, a bit too much. So much in fact that it became a major flaw of the series. It rapidly progressed past events and explanations that seemed really important so quickly that you couldn't fully digest what's going on. Some of the early episodes were like finales with how intense and unexpected they were, and that consistency of finale-like moments was immensely entertaining, but it didn't give me any reason to feel even remotely attached to the characters, whom I still loved by the way. They're all extremely lovable from the get-go despite lacking any hook to attach myself to them, but I guess I should mention that a lot of the characters fall into a certain trope.
Glenpie, where you at? This world needs ya, motherfucker.
Aw yeah, Glenpie's back, son. Let's get this rolling. Lolly gangsters be walking the streets of the hood, making Oni-chan's hearts go doki doki with their smiles, bursting cock-a-rows like bang bang yo. The lolly's life is hot in these days as Sundra. The lolly's souls are escaping through this bento that is gaping. The world is full of lollies taking Oni-chan's going down a lonely road. No bread in mouth, but still late to school. The lollies are to blame for making all the Oni-chan's a fool. Yeah, Glenpie's back. So, yeah, Black Bullet, it's pretty good. It, it never failed to intrigue me by constantly giving new, interesting information and crazy twists that jumbled my mind around like a snow globe, and I simply liked it for what it was. Having ambition is a good thing, but so is staying within your limits. Being too ambitious can bring complete ruin to a show or ascend its greatness to new heights. Selector Infected WIXOSS is a show that strayed from ambition and stayed safely where it could only manage to be an above-average show. It never challenged itself, and that was its biggest flaw. It lacked the ambition necessary to be better than simply good enough, and that was my biggest problem with it, but I still respect it for knowing its limits despite my disappointment with it. It still managed to be entertaining at the least, also somewhat predictable, but I adored the atmosphere of the show. It reeked of desperation and despair, the futility of our actions against what we don't fully understand, how helpless and powerless we feel when overwhelmed by these things that we can't control, and how those things drive the desire for retaliation. WIXOSS is about the emotional and psychological consequences of playing the card game WIXOSS, which if you win will grant your wish. But is it worth shattering others' dreams to achieve your own? And that's what made WIXOSS good, the fact that it wasn't about the game, it was about the character's emotional trauma and how it affected their lives. And also, I like to watch cute girls suffer. That came out wrong, didn't it? All in all, I was satisfied by WIXOSS, but it was heavily restrained by its lack of courage to take that big step towards ambition. Haikyuu no Chika has a glorious sense of adventure. It's almost like an RPG come to life. It blends adventure with fantasy, action, eyebrows, romance, eyebrows, comedy, and did I forget to mention eyebrows, okay. They're consuming my soul! It flawlessly combines all of these elements into a richly captivating experience, but when it comes to stories such as these, the tone is constantly shifting, and Chika was able to do what many shows have failed at, which is shifting its tone naturally and with shrewd cohesion. And to put it simply, this show is just so cool. It's the epitome of taking a generic story on paper and making it kick-ass on the screen, with delightfully exuberant presentation and extremely polished execution. Among all of the mayhem, there's still control though. It kept itself in check and never went so far as to ruin the chaotic simplicity of its story. When it comes to Haikyuu no Chika, its beauty is found amidst the chaos. No Game No Life caught me completely off guard. I wasn't expecting much more from it than simply being fun, which it very much was. Plot points and character introductions fly by like nothing, and the show doesn't even blink. Whatever happens, the show just kinda rolls with it, never stopping for too long to think about anything, and expects the audience to do the same. This is at the same time one of the things that makes it so fun to watch. But what surprised me was that behind all the silliness and idiotic antics of the show was a remarkably clever side to it that consistently made me laugh. All of the comedy fit under a repeating theme, and the jokes are all adapted to its unique setting. It's a show with an energy level propelled by seemingly limitless rocket fuel, and the only reason I can think of as to why someone wouldn't enjoy No Game No Life is that they're allergic to fun. And that's really all I need to say. No Game No Life is simply fun, and it doesn't need to be more than that. Looks can be deceiving. I never would have thought that Nanana's Buried Treasure would end up being one of my personal favorites of this season. I mean, sure, yeah, the idea of finding some lost treasure seems silly when said aloud, but Nanana knows how to blend mature and immature themes to perfection, and as I said before, looks are deceiving. And Nanana's Buried Treasure has much more to it than you can possibly even imagine, which I can't really go more into because I don't want to spoil anything, but the show doesn't go out of its way to beat us over the head with things. It lets the characters and situations speak for themselves, which made things feel surprisingly natural and made it a lot more enjoyable to watch. It's lighthearted yet still carries a heavy weight with it. It's well written and just plain enjoyable. Its only problem is that it's the beginning to a story that won't be completed. But I'm happy to have experienced the beginning of this story than to not have experienced it at all. Honestly, the second season of Mushishi was very much more of the same to the original in almost every aspect, and didn't introduce very much more. But is it so bad to be the same as your predecessor when the predecessor was already something absolutely fantastic? Obviously not. Mushishi is a story about its beautiful and ominous world that understands the immense power of silence. The use of subtle means to construct an unexplored world that mesmerizes you at every turn. It's so tranquil and peaceful that its own silence built tension. You can legitimately feel the stillness, the warmth, the life of the world. You can sense the weight of it all on your shoulders. Mushishi knows how to world build like the back of its hands, and that's plainly obvious to see. But what is Mushishi really about? It's about our lovable guide to this wonderful world, Ginkgo, who travels from place to place researching the strange creatures known as Mushi, which are a very unique concept. Each encounter with the Mushi tends to convey a lighthearted message about life, and their existence makes this already brimming world even more bountiful with life. The obscure treasure that is Mushishi returned, and once again, never bored me. And I'm so glad that I got to experience the elegance of Mushishi once again. It was nice seeing you again, Mushishi. An anime about ping pong. You must be joking, Glen. I'm not. I am really not joking. Ping Pong the animation is not a story about ping pong. It's a story about the players behind the sport. It's about the trials and motivations of the players. It vividly details the exploration of the way our own trials can bring about the rebirth of ourselves, even the relationships we have with the people we love, our failings, fears, and anxieties. It never takes a detour from the truth of life and ignites a flurry of emotions within you, engaging the feeling you keep locked away in yourself. Ping Pong the animation is the key to that cage and opens you with no hesitation. It managed to be painfully relatable, which is refreshing since shows tend to stray from being realistic. But in Ping Pong, the real world is always creeping in and bringing the painful reality that comes with it. And when life sneaks in, so does all of its shortcomings and benefits. It details the character's failures and conveys the message that you can only achieve victory through those failures. With knowing this truth, you can push forward and fail again and again and again and again, and when you finally have victory, it'll eventually fade away. But your failures will continue to hold you up through your collapse. Ping Pong the animation is an easy candidate for one of the best anime of 2014, and it's something that you really need to watch for yourself. Hey guys, Glen here, and if you want to watch most of the anime that I talked about in this video, you can watch them on Crunchyroll. There's a 2-week free trial down below in the description, and maybe consider liking the video if you enjoyed it, maybe subscribing. Also, maybe go like me on the Facebooks if you want to talk to me about my future rap career, son! That was a blast to make. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.